Sunday morning, everybody. How is it going? How are you doing? How's it been? How did the week treat you? Hopefully, all right. Hopefully, all right for everybody. Uh, I am going to hopefully be able to see what's happening in the chat this week. I know I've got like the most amount of technical difficulties. Um, I shouldn't say the most amount. Just I shouldn't I shouldn't be running into as much, I guess. But I've only been doing this for I don't know few months now. I do need to find some more time somewhere in order to learn how to do more, but I have to find that time first. So we'll see how that works out. Um, so this week, I wanted to get away from trying to do anything that like wouldn't be able to do normally in terms of like not being able to show you guys not being able to show you guys things related to audio, because my audio drivers are not wanting to play nice with each other. So it's just going to be pretty much all GPT stuff. And what I'm doing right now, I should have done a little bit more setup, but I actually I kind of just wanted to do this where you guys are just sort of following around. Just following me around and being able to see what it is like I'm doing. I just want to make sure I'm sharing the right stuff, but not sharing the wrong stuff. We were doing some work earlier today, and don't want to be peeking. Okay. If you guys know that line from Congo, I hope you do. So let's also put this away because that's an API key. People shouldn't see that. Hope. Okay. I think everything is clean enough now. That and yeah, that's good enough. Okay. All right. So at least now you guys can follow me around. And so like the entire purpose of this being that like, there's always I wish I could say that I had set agendas. I do have set agendas and I do have stuff that I like to cover, but then it just starts going like crazy down a rabbit hole of like new discovery of stuff. So I'm always a little bit all over the place. So what I was doing today was like, okay, well, I want to create. I do this a lot where I use GPT to essentially like either summarize, cross-reference, or create data in spreadsheets. So it's almost like, I don't know, I don't want to say it's my spreadsheet person or something like that, because that's not really the right classification to give it. I also want to show you guys some stuff later on with what I've been doing with linking to server files. Finally picked up some server space, so I'm going to show you guys some cool things with that. Basically, what it allows for is if you have like hard copy items. So like one of the things I was running into was being like having the web usability in another mode of GPT so that I could use like other aspects, right? So like I want to use plugins, but then I want to be able to bring hard copy in and be able to like edit and when I say that, I mean like maybe I have PDF data, maybe I have some, whatever it might be, but I have other data that I want to be able to bring in, and with plugins you lose the ability to do that, right? Or maybe I want it to interpret an image that you would be able to get with default, but with plugins I can't do that. So I have to be able to get it to see those things somehow, right? And the best way that it can do that is through web links. So the easiest way for me to do that is to upload stuff to a web server and then feed it the links so that it can read the data. So get into that. Well, I mean, like an example is sort of what I've done here. This sensors article, you wouldn't be able to, it came off a PDF. and you otherwise wouldn't be able to read that file, especially, if you're using data analysis. Of course, you can upload and do whatever you want to. But if you're using, plugins, you're using Dolly, default or browser, especially with default, you can't, you're not going to be able to do anything with default or Dolly related to web anyway. And then advanced data analysis, yeah, you can use all of your hard copy stuff, but now you can't touch anything off, online. So I wanted to be able to do both. I wanted to be able to use, the power of GPT to be able to analyze data, and at the same time be able to bring that data in from an outside source. So one plugin that I haven't played around with yet is AI Data Analyst. Um, I really do want to see if this is as good as advanced data analysis. I I'm hoping so. If it is, then like this combined with what I've already been doing makes it very, very easy to host data and be able to rip it down and go through the entire process without actually having to upload it to GPT, which would be great. It's very resource saving, I think in that regard. I'm not entirely sure. I hope. So anyhow, so what I was playing around with initially was being able to uh, build that out in the first place, right? To be able to figure out how I was going to get something uploaded there. And then I was messing around with spreadsheet data and manipulating spreadsheet data. And I was like, you know what? I should do something like HubSpot related as well, so that it kind of ties in. So it's not just all like cool GPT-ness. And so I'm going to basically show off how well GPT works in terms of writing code, not just for use with HubSpot, but also with just web in general, because I haven't built a front end to this. So the index on this is nothing. Yep, .me. So there's nothing. I built this file upload aspect the other day, and that's it, right? I haven't built anything else. I haven't done anything to the front of this, which is perfect, because you'll see, like, I don't, again, this is why I'm just recording like what it is off the screen, because sometimes I go off on tangents I hadn't intended on, but they end up being very, very cool, and I want you guys to be able to see it. Okay, so what I did was I went into the HubSpot for GPT With Me. Try not to hack into this, guys. You're going to steal so much sensitive data from me that I'm never going to be able to replace it. And so what I did, this is just for context. All I did was I went in and edited the columns. I'm not entirely sure. It's the first time for everything. And put in all of the columns that I wanted to fill in data for. And so now I'm just going to do that for, say, I don't know, 400 rows or something. So we're going to say, hey, GPT, how's it going today? With this data set, and create some dummy data for the sheet. So we can get started. So what's been happening this past week? Well, I don't know. I know a little while ago I told you guys about how Anthropic's Claude got a boost of 4 billion from Amazon. And now, I shouldn't say now, but like this past week, it got like another boost of, gosh, what is it? 2 billion from Google. So like serious money, it's not just like serious money is going behind this stuff, like it hasn't been before or something, but like very serious money is going behind this stuff. People keep thinking like, so, I don't know if I talked about this before. If I did, I'm sorry that I'm harping on it again, but I saw a clip not long ago that showed, it was a clip of Warren Buffett, and it was talking about how Warren Buffett's advisor says that AI is all hype and that there's nothing really behind it, and said specifically AI isn't going to cure cancer, right? Okay, so that's what he said, right? AI. It's not like he said. It's not like AI is going to cure cancer. This wasn't Warren Buffett. It was his top advisor saying that AI is just all hype, that it's not going to do anything like all that great. I cannot tell you how many stories on a daily basis. Let me see. Let's see. Let's go for 400 rows. Now, here's where it starts to get a little difficult. Let's see. Okay, excluding the column. So this is where it starts getting, I shouldn't say difficult, but like, you just want to make sure that things aren't going to go off the rails. Industry, job title, phone number. Should stay in US. Stay in US standard style. Only numbers. Do not use special characters. Let's see. State should be spelled out. Not use foreign countries. Not even territories. Yeah, it's funny how I typed that, right? Like, how amazingly biased was that? Right? Do not use foreign countries. I'm immediately now, I mean, it's not, is it wrong to make that assumption, right? To that, like, to make the assumption that foreign countries are non-US countries? Or is it that my brain is like, I'm gonna go the I'm gonna go the extra mile in the event that it's not written that way on the back end. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Not even territories of the U.S. Only states within the U.S. Which I believe, like, Guam is a state, even though it's not a territory of the U.S. Guam is like an actual state of the U.S. We don't recognize it, which is really horrific. Let me see. Postal code can be what it does. Let's see. Okay, and anything else? Relationship status? I don't know. Could be whatever. Degree? Could be whatever. Number of employees. Everything else is good. Yes. Country should also be spelled out. Oh, well, yeah, I suppose. What's the point if they're all in the US? Yes, I guess use foreign countries, but huh. I just don't want to deal with international phone numbers because HubSpot doesn't do well with international phone numbers. Okay. The same row as a country that is outside the US. Okay, that should do it. Should be spelled out, not abbreviated. Now it's likely going to just summarize the rules again. Oh my god, this thing just disabled for the site. It's a very cool add-on, like what it helps you to do. You know, obviously it's a GPT toggle, but it also helps you to like copy paste replies from GPT without the formatting, or it'll strip the formatting like where you paste it to. So it's like it helps in that regard, but it's like the cost, the the juice for that squeeze, like when it comes, and this is another reason why you guys don't see me like, I don't know, not necessarily not talking about, but this is why you guys don't necessarily see me push forward like any sort of tools or any sort of apps or anything like that, is primarily because I like, you know, I have to use them for a while. I don't like to just use them for a weekend or use them for a week, you know, a week or even a month. Like I want to use them for a bit until I actually can say, okay, I've got enough of this, right? Like I understand enough of this to be able to give an accurate opinion on it. Okay. Let's see. So on and so forth in a relationship. Can we come back? Thanks. Because they don't, you're making them outside the US, that many people? Or is it just no phone number? Make sure it understands that, because I don't want to. Last thing I want is null values that I'm going to go to try to import into HubSpot, and then all of a sudden it's going to be like, no, I can't do that. Oh yeah, slight hack if you guys didn't know it. Oh, I should have asked to do this already because I'm wasting an extra step. I'm like anymore. I try to. It's a there's like a difficulty of separating my brain from. I don't know how many of you do this. When you message people, you tend to treat it like a verbal conversation. So you tend to message the information at that moment and then the next moment, and so your messages end up being like very short, quick sentences, right? Messages back and forth, getting across the overall idea. So I've been trying to pull back from that, and it's almost happening somewhat naturally. So eventually I'll get to this, but trying to pull it back to where I'm putting more in the message that I'm sending for, you know, for multiple reasons. And, you know, working with GPT is kind of part of that, where, you know, trying to get everything that I need in one concise statement with what the important stuff is. It's almost like personal marketing in a sense, right? Like it's really like I'm trying to boil down the message and, you know, make sure the important parts stay, or whatever, you know, what have you. Okay, so let's go check out our dummy data and see. I know a lot of you guys are gonna yell right now, and you're gonna be like, "Wow, Christine just put that guide out on how to create dummy data. How come you didn't use that? Why are you doing this?" Speed, I guess. And I literally thought about this at the last minute, and so I'm sorry, Christine. I'm sorry. I should be doing your guide and doing your walkthrough, and I will probably do it next week as a result of this, because this is only going to be some datas. It's not going to be all the datas. So basically, what I did was I put the columns of data that I wanted to have from, okay, we're not going to be able to use that. Format that differently. I took the columns of data that I wanted from HubSpot, and I just exported that, right? And that becomes your import spreadsheet, because now you have all the column headers that you need. And then essentially just went back and asked GPT, like, hey, why don't you just go in and fill in all the values where I need them to be filled in. So what is going on here? What country? Oh, wow. So you just went all over the place. That's great. That's awesome, though, because we're going to have some nice, seriously diverse data. Let me see. Good deal. Right. And if you tell it, do it based on the header row, then you don't get so much. Let's see. I want to see if there's a. Huh. I mean, yeah, I guess. So it is two separate places, but no, I don't know what to tell you. Let's go to maps. Yeah, I'm just copying and pasting here. I just want to see, are we getting a horseshit answer here? Kind of. It's not exactly a place, but we're talking about dummy data anyway. I just wanted to see, like, how accurate is this? Is there an actual place? Or did it really, like, legitimately give us some, yeah, it's some straight up dummy data, that's for sure. I'm guessing that may be what it's doing. Pulling just stuff, Stephen Mount, like, South Jennifer, right? Like, it's just putting some stuff together for sure. All right. So now we've got the dummy data. It's great. Got that in an Excel sheet, which is even better. So we're going to go to import. There is a purpose behind this, I promise. It gets into the next aspect of things. Okay. Contacts. And I guess I'll just start with this one and then see what else. I don't want to take up a ton of time doing this because, again, I didn't really necessarily prepare for it. But I'm just going to create new contacts. Next, all this stuff. Buying role is definitely not set up properly, so we just leave it. And number of employees should be. Oh, it's not. Oh, we made a drop down. Oh well. Yeah. Should definitely. Let's just create a new one. Yeah, no, I got it, buddy. I got it. HubSpot with the blocking me from writing stuff in. I know it's a horrifically different field to be used. Limit that. Create. Let it be done. Okay. And we've got everything for everything else. Awesome. Put the name on it. Yep, don't worry about it. Pump a man. Swear, if you give me an error on a clean spreadsheet import, there you go, 4 out of 400. What's going on there? Okay. Sorry, cell phone just started buzzing out of nowhere. Okay, so now we've got all our contacts in place. Beautiful. All right, so what was the point of this? The point of this was, I'm sure a lot of you have wished that, like, you could work with the HubSpot API so that you could do all the cool, nifty stuff that everybody else does, right? Like, bulk add or edit notes, bulk add or edit, calls or tasks or meetings or whatever. And it gets to be like a huge pain when you can't. I'm just putting that off to the side because I don't want you guys to. Oh, actually, you know what? It's not going to matter because I'll just delete it after I'm done anyway. So it becomes a huge pain because you can't really do a lot of bulk editing. especially, once items are created, it's even more difficult to bulk edit. If you, I started doing this because I was dealing with some imports last week and this week and this weekend, and had I done this ahead of time, would have been a lot easier. Had I known I would have needed to do this ahead of time, would have been easier. But you know, hindsight, that's how it is. So the point of this was, okay, we've got the data analysis aspect done, and we're still going to use data analyzer. Don't really need anything different. Though you could, yeah. Let's do browser. And the only reason I'm going to suggest this is just because it'll give us up-to-date information on what it is that I'm trying to do. So I've got content. Oh, well, hey, GPT. I've got contacts in my new HubSpot instance that I need to add notes to. Can you help me write the code? We're going to do this specifically for Visual Studio. So if you guys don't know or don't have Visual Studio, it's a free download. It's no big deal. You can go get it. We're going to call this GPT With Me. Contact data editor. And we're going to save it with all of our other fun stuff. We should have saved it as .js file is what we should have done. Okay, unfortunately now I'm going to have two of them, but I don't care. We'll deal with that later. And also, give me a, nope. Oh my gosh. Explore. No, not looking for that either. Wow. I don't know. There it is. Okay, so can you help me write the code in order to add notes to the contacts in bulk? Of course I can help you do that. Now, this is like what I want to do is stress like what this use is, let's say, because you could say, well, what about or like you're creating notes or something like that, creating new notes. I've had issues where you've had to either bulk create notes and have the create date predate when you actually create the note. Well, the note import date, right? So that becomes part of the problem, is that the note that you're trying to import is not going to want to update based on the information that you've got, or based on the date that you've got, or whatever the case may be. So we can see that it's actually, it's putting it in exactly the right format, except it's writing it in Python, which is fine. What we're going to do is we're going to have to turn around and write this in node.js using leveraging Axiom. Yes. Further explorations might be necessary. So much great guidance from GPT. So, like I was saying before, Google throwing, another 2 billion against Anthropic, you almost have to kind of wonder what Anthropic is doing to pull that forward. Like, why two giant companies who are technically they're not, like, they're against each other. Like, it's not as if Google and Amazon necessarily want to work together or have ever talked about working together, but now it looks like they are, right? a lot of the big tech companies are working together at this point. And I hope for the same goal of, gosh, how do I hope it's all with the same goal in terms of, hey, want to move everything forward in a positive fashion while also, if we're all working together, that's more minds that are looking at what we're doing and hopefully reducing the amount of mistakes that are getting made and having some forward thinking in terms of ethics and guidelines. But that's wishful thinking, and I don't like to do a whole lot of that. I think that the push is to try to get Claude to be part of, I like to be a conversational model for them in some form or another. I don't blame them because it's an excellent conversational model, and I wouldn't even say, yeah, like you could definitely hold a conversation with it. Um, is it anything? All right, I'll be right back. Sorry, dog is pawing at the door. It's gonna be an issue. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see where we're at here. Okay, so look at the official documentation. Otherwise, we can just copy this, bring it over to Visual Studio, paste it. You can see automatically there's no errors going on. So now your API key will go here. Contact ID number will go there. The note that goes to the contact goes there, right? Now, I'm doing this in bulk. So let's say, okay, to a single note. Okay. So that's the thing to note. No pun intended. The first aspect, this code would work just fine. While this is happening, let's go ahead and do what we need to do over here in HubSpot. So we've got Visual Studio set up. Then we're going to come over here. We're going to go to integrations. We're going to go to connected apps. We've got nothing so far. So we're going to go to private apps. And we're going to create a private app. And we're going to call this GPT with me. Can't use that. Contact. Okay. And don't care about the logo. And for scope, so I'm basically giving it all CRM capabilities. Obviously, talk to your developers before you do this, and do not do it on any portal that is owned by your clients without your client's permission, especially after getting your boss's permission. Then get your client's permission. And if those two things line up, do it first in the sandbox and then do it in the live environment. Please make sure you go through all of those checks before you do any sort of thing like this. Okay, so we're going to quick show the token and hide it again and come back over here and replace the API key with that. So now we've got our new setup that's going to handle multiples. And so I don't have to replace the API section. I go right up to it and grab everything here down. Place that, and we're all set. Okay, so now we've got one contact ID, and now we can do multiple notes to that contact ID, right? So let's see. So yeah, so we'll just do first, second, third note. That's perfect. What I'm trying to show here is essentially how easy it is for you guys to be able to create your own private app in HubSpot, go to GPT to generate the code, to go into Visual Studio, to then start making changes to your records in HubSpot. So I don't know who's been keeping track of the time. I know it's less than 10 minutes since I started actually working on this. So first, second, third note, let's just go ahead and pull a contact record ID so that we can Yeah, that should be it. And then we'll come back over to here, place contact record ID, and we'll go ahead and fire it off and see what happens. Use Node.js debug, running. Oh, property values are not valid. Correlation ID. So that should return a 400. So it made a call, came back with the errors. Okay. So what you can do is you can say, okay, come back and say, I ran this, but it came back following error. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm sure that is absolutely true. Okay. See, once again, I should have told it like what's going on, and then I should have asked it to make the change as well. My God. This is definitely due to my output instructions. Let's see. Hold on. Actually, the first things first. There we go. But that's not. I know it isn't because it just does not look that way. Because we already have that. Definitely. Yeah, and the content to be replaced is right here. That's definitely where it's going. Okay, let's try it. Define request all the way down to iterate. So come back. Okay. Not entirely sure. I don't think so, but nope. Okay, let me see. No, I don't want to do that. Let's see. Okay, let me see if that'll do it straight. Yeah, no, we got that. Don't worry about it. Now we're cooking. Wait for it. Excuse me. Whew. Definitely don't want to be coughing all over you guys. Oh, so what else? Oh, I have to type too much in. So you know about these, right? And then the factory in and of itself is pretty badass, but like, and then I don't know. Oh, yeah, wow, 4 days ago, right? So here's the thing: is like people talk about, oh, robots and like that kind of, it's not just like stand-up robots, right? That end up replacing a lot of stuff. It's just because when you think about it, especially these like crane style machines, right? They are they're able to let's put it this way. That crane is just replacing a person that stood in that place that did that thing, right? Obviously, at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about. So, realistically, when people talk about like not that many, manual labor jobs are going to get replaced or what have you by machines and machine labor, at the same time, it's very, very likely it's just not going to be in the exact same way that you might have thought. It's not going to be these like upright walking machines. Now, having said that, I don't know if this story is going to touch on it. Doesn't look like it does. Having said that, there we go. This is like the new, um, and it's funny because I guess this is the company that's designed it. Mechanics of this stuff is crazy, right? So that's 2017. That's 2019. This is the bot that Amazon is using now. And I wish I was joking. Like this is the new. I don't know if it's not. I take that back. I don't know if it's Amazon exactly. I want to say it is, but I know that this is like the new warehouse bot, basically. I mean, in 1 year, that's ridiculous, right? So like here it was in 22. Just even like keep a look on just the look, keep an eye on the look of it in 22, right? So in 1 year, you'll see like how much has changed. Like all of this is now fine, like neat, like fine tuned now. The body is a lot tighter together. I don't care about the coloring or any of that. I'm looking at like where the bolt placement was on the old one versus where it is on the new one. Wow, we have such a need to humanize these things so badly. It helps us, I suppose helps us deal with it. And I know you guys are probably sitting there saying like, "Oh, this is so stupid. Look at how slow they move," all that kind of thing. First of all, they don't move that slow, and secondly, I gotta say, uh, they run 24/7. So really, the pace is not an issue. Like when it's running all day, all night, who cares, right? I want to say that's something that I actually need to run here. Okay, good deal. Oh, but you know what? This is not the same place. Oh my gosh, now I need to remember DOS somehow. Maybe. Hold on. No, oh, because my token's not there. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. of authentication, show token, copy. Okay, contact ID. Now I just want to see if it's going to access via the token and then come back and say the contact ID is bad. Property values were not valid. Correlation ID. Okay, so the correlation ID is bad. So now let's give it a proper ID. I know that is the number. It's just so low. There we go. There was something wrong with it. It just didn't read right. Okay, so there's the proper contact ID. And so now if this runs properly, we'll see a little blue. Nope. Okay, so still still the same thing. Validation results of rate 1. Validation ID is not valid. Is that the same error that we gave him before? Yeah, pretty much. And I say that, it really sucks when you do something once and it works so flawlessly, and then you go to redo it, not even close. It's trying to go to engagements. That is the contact ID. Does it have to be all the zeros and then the ID? No, I don't think so. This sucks so bad. This is an actual company. Hold on, yeah, I suppose. It won't matter, honestly. Oh, you know what? If it doesn't know what. There we go. Hold on a second. Engagements. Wow, I keep going back and forth between the wrong things. Engagements. No, that is the right call to make, or the right place that it's supposed to go. Anyhow, weird. Oh my gosh, I don't want to give up on this because I know that I'm still getting the same error. Let me see. Okay, got it. Well, okay. There's much more needed to create a note. That's what we're missing. Sorry about that if you can hear my dogs. To create a note. Okay, let's see if that's it. Because I know that you need like a date time stamp as well. Like you can't just put just the note. It doesn't really understand that. No, I don't think that's the issue, man. There you go. No. I don't think that this is the answer to it at all. Okay. My gosh. All right, I'll set this up for another time. It looks like once again I've inadvertently wasted time doing nothing. That's even worse because I'm like, oh, you know what? I could just do news at the same time that I'm working on stuff and it should be the same thing. Nah, not really. Not really at all. I really don't expect this to work any better. Because I have a slight idea of what it is that I'm missing. And this ain't it. Because what I'm missing is there's actually no date timestamp being used here, and that's part of the problem. Oops. It's not gonna fire. You gotta be. Never mind. It's like it's as if I went and told Google Maps you're wrong, right? Like that's what that felt like right there. Anyway, so it fired, right? Take a look at the private app data itself. Huzzah, right? Look at the log. We missed every other attempt, but then we finally hit 200 on this one. But I don't see my notes. So how come I got a green light? Oh, wait, or we're not even on the right contact, are we? That's why I don't see my notes. Did we even put a proper, yeah, 4901. It was Jennifer Leonard, right? Nope. Let's go find him. Charles Marshall. Boom. Note, first, second, third. What do you know? Now, I know that you can edit the date time on this as well. Thankfully, this wasn't completely time wasted. Let me see. Historical record. Let me see. I'm not even sure if that's necessarily written correctly, but we'll see what happens. So yeah. No, and then the news aspect of it, I horribly apologize, but there's been a lot going on ethically. I don't know that, of course, technologically, there's stuff going on all the time. Okay, so to Warren Buffett's advisor, here's all I have to say. Right? Like, this is just a generic search, right? And this is just where it's being used within cancer research currently, right? These are some of the few things that are causing drawbacks, right? That's about it. Is like cleaner data and more of it. That's legitimately, the only holdback. So we're looking at 2020 stuff. I hate doing that. If you don't know this already, you can go to Google and you can do like past year, past month, so you can bring the data up to date. Has revolutionized cancer research and treatment by identifying intricate patterns in medical data, providing quantitative evaluations of clinical conditions. In today's complex terrain of available medical data, AI can play a crucial role in enhancing traditional data analysis methods. So yeah, I think that it's actually going to help us cure cancer. I don't know, again, like Warren Buffett's guy saying that, to me, it's a joke because at the same time, like, hey man, you do know that Zuckerberg is working on creating a version specifically to be able to solve like the hardest, some of the hardest problems possible, right? I don't know. Let me see. Timestamp that looks all right, but it has to be in a date time form. You know what? So, you know, another reason why to do this using web browsing, or you can do it using plugins, does not matter, is for this reason. It's like, okay, well, you can keep sitting, poking and prodding. I just didn't do this earlier because obviously browsing for the answer takes a little bit longer. But you can see that, like, hey, at least if I don't know, all together, so it's a UTC format that has to be used. Because I saw this and immediately it's like, nah, that's not going to work ever. So let's see. Cool. Cool. See, and again, I left off the second part of this. The second part of that should have been, can you research to make sure that this is the right method format for this request? If so, don't change anything. If not, update the code in order to align to HubSpot's API method. Unix timestamp in milliseconds. That's what I thought. I provided earlier, the timestamp field in the engagement object is set to the value of timestamp parameter passed in the create note function, which should be a Unix timestamp in milliseconds. Except that it has some. No, it didn't. For some reason, I thought there was a character in there. Okay. So yeah, you would have to convert, which, again, I'm sure a lot of you are, the first thing that's going through your head is, well, I don't know what the Unix timestamp for that is. You probably don't, but given that that's the case, I'm really sure you could give it to GPT and it'll figure it out for you. So let's go ahead and test this out with the timestamp aspect of it put into place. And we'll just call this 4th. We'll make sure these are all getting in there. 5th and 6th. Okay, and then push. Ah, we're missing something. Unable to process JSON correlation ID. So I'm gonna grab that, and I'm assuming it's, I know that it's going to be related to this method here. Of writing that. Just double check. There we go. And you know what? Just in case I'm missing a line, even though it looks like all I needed to do was replace that. Okay. Real quick. All blue. Yep, there was something I missed. Okay, so now we go back to Charles. 6th, 5th, 6th, 4th, 5th, 6th note, and they are at different days or at different dates. 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of October in 2021 as opposed to today. So that's a real quick. Okay, so it did take a little. It took you 30 minutes. Say that it took, let's say it took 45. In 45 minutes, you've got a script that's up and running now that you can go and make edits, bulk edits to notes. If you wanted to do it to emails or tasks or whatever it is, again, it's just a matter of asking GPT to update that code and change that code. And again, if you feel that it's incorrect, it's just a matter of asking GPT to go check it out and make sure, hey, is that written the right way? Okay. And it was as easy as copy pasting, changing out the access token and changing out the contact ID, right? And then you can just put your note information in here. And when it comes to this, right, that now if you had, let's say you had a ton of notes, whatever it might be, right? Where did I use this last? Airtable. If you've ever done an integration or a migration from Airtable, you'll know that notes are the bane of your existence. So there was a plugin that was recently released for Airtable back in July, and you can use that plugin to turn notes in Airtable into a field that you can then export from Airtable. Well, once you've exported that field out, great, and you've got the note, and you'll have it tied, like you could export it along with the opportunity and everything. So you'll have all the op data and the date that the note was written and all that kind of stuff. Awesome. Problem is when you're bringing that kind of stuff into HubSpot, one of the biggest issues you run into is you cannot import multiple notes to the same deal in the same import. You have to do them in separate imports. So because HubSpot won't read the same deal number, if it reads a duplicate deal number, it just will ignore that row. It won't bother importing that data row. It just assumes the first one was the one that was legitimate. Everything else is just BS. I'm not going to bother with the BS. You know, it kind of makes sense. Like logically, it makes sense. In terms of data protection, you wouldn't want to overwrite the same data value several times. It doesn't, even if you're just updating, it doesn't understand. It just doesn't get it. I wish it did. I've tried it so many times. It's so infuriating. And when when I've done it in the past, before I could do this, what I'd do in the past is I would start with the first upload and then take the error file from that upload, bring it down, separate and redo that, and then bring down the third, right? And that automatically separates out which notes made it, which notes didn't, right? Because you're using the error file, strips out all the ones that actually went through the first time. At any rate, now what I do is, or what I can do is I can just ask GPT to split that data for me, right? And on top of it, I can ask it to format it in the way that I need it to be so that I can re-import it, right? So I didn't go through that. I don't want to burn time trying to figure it out right now, but I can guarantee you, I'll set it up for next week. Guarantee you that you can have GPT import a spreadsheet of data for you, and then reformat it in the way I know it can take a spreadsheet of data and reformat it. That's not a big deal. What I want you guys to see is like how amazing the reformatting is. I actually posted something not too long ago about doing job titles and how how you could change out job titles using GPT and using GPT data. Let me just grab a file real quick that I need. If I have it, I'm not really sure. Well, you know what? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll just use the file we just made. So we've got this dummy data. Okay, so here's what I would normally do. Hands down, this is what I would normally do. Okay, so I would take we're gonna label this real quick. Just so I don't get it all messed up and lost and not able to find what I need. Okay, so we're gonna open that in Sheets because I hate Excel rules. And Sheets just works better, so get over it. Okay, so we got a bunch of dummy data, and what we're trying to do here is we're trying to, let's say, we're trying to boil down job titles, right? So that they are more consistent. First thing, obviously, that you most likely do is you take a look and see, like, okay, well, do we have duplicates of any type? Okay, we do, right? We have some duplicates in some ways, some fashion. Okay. Now, what we'll do is we'll take any identifying information off because we don't need it. If we're just trying to boil down job titles, let's just do that because it's probably like the number one annoyance that I run into when working with clients. The first time out the gate is their job title field is text and it's not it's text and it's not drop down, and so that creates just the most horrific scenario possible in terms of trying to straighten things out and create job personas based off of that. So we're going to call this current titles. Titles. Download that as a CSV, and we'll bring that right over into GPT. Okay, and we're gonna call we're gonna say, hey GPT, can you analyze sheet for me? So you want GPT to familiarize itself with the file right out the gate. Okay. And what I'm going to show you is like how easy it is to sort of write rules for it to work with. File was not found. Okay, try it again. That's weird. That's the first time I've ever gotten that. Oh, maybe because it's reading the extension. That'd be weird. Obviously shouldn't be doing that, but hopefully it's reading the data now. Oh, let me see. Oh yeah. What was it? Stores, shopping, grocery, AI grocery stores. If you've been to an Amazon store, then you've seen this tech already. If you haven't, then get ready because it's starting to make its way out there, right? So where automated checkout stands were the thing that sort of miffed people in the beginning, now it's going to be automated shopping altogether, like automated grocery shopping. All right, I don't really understand. Let's see. Let's just go with the straight up Excel version, I guess. I don't see why there would be an issue or like a difference, but yeah, no, we can't do that. We don't need all that. Just work with one at a time here. Cool. All right, let's just do that. Try this one. Just throw it in its face. Try this one on for size. Nuts. If you don't succeed, try again. Okay, so titles, let's move forward with analyzing. Most common titles found. What are the most common words found among the titles? Because that's what we're going to go by, right? So we're going to separate out into, let's say, 3 or 4, let's say, drop-down categories. And we're going to take all of these, what is it, 200 or 400? Something like that, 400. So we're going to take all 400 and we're going to boil them down into as many, or as few, sorry, as we can. Here's, there's no column. What? Of course there is. Oh my gosh, really? Fine. I'm not even going to use words anymore. The most common words found in column. Yeah, just do it that way. Since I don't want to use words and get you all confused about where everything is. Just lay it all out in column A. I sincerely hope like somebody hasn't been like chatting into the nethers or something, netherworld or whatever, however you want to phrase that, because I definitely haven't been seeing it. If that's the case, it sucks so bad. I don't know why I can't, really. This is really ridiculous now. All right, you know what? Let's just, maybe you broke. It's okay. Sometimes it happens. It's not your fault. just going to go with whatever it can find. Because sometimes, I don't know why, but sometimes it doesn't read that. It thinks that row 1 is like the beginning of the data. Cool. Yep. Yep. That's all of that. All of that. So that's pretty much what I want to do. At the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to consolidate job titles. Frequency of unique titles. So we don't have a whole lot of uniques, which is not surprising to me, right? We've got 400 titles, and if I tried to go by just unique values, we wouldn't be able to condense a whole lot. Now, if we go by keywords found in those, now we're starting to condense more. So here's what we need to do. Which are in an organization. In any organization. Titles. Does it? Yeah. Okay. Any organization that go above vice president level. Without having predefined what these levels are, right? Hopefully, we'll see if it can do this out of a sort of a generic pool, right? So we're gonna do C-suite, we're gonna do VP, which is going to be job titles in the organization. The or in any. Let's say in any. I love director. I'm gonna go director. Contain the word director, but none of the previous titles. Manager. Okay, and then we're gonna say other for anybody who of 4 categories. Okay, so what I would like you to do is create the rule that you need to follow, that you follow in order to carry task out from start to finish, going from C-suite to other. And how the new titles should map let's see if it can do this right off the bat. Would be awesome. Perfect. Perfect. Yep. Perfect. This is awesome. It's absolutely awesome. Cannot capture all nuances or specific organizational hierarchies, right? So what we're doing is we're matching using exact logic, and we're not using fuzzy logic. So would you like to proceed? Yes. Put this method, putting the new okay. I feel like this is turned way over to the side. There we go. Maybe that's better. Somebody will tell me at some point. I think so. It looks better. Okay. Now we've got our new file. Subtitles got recategorized. Because who likes messy titles, guys? At the end of the day, right? I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even have the level. Like, but I do need to purchase some basic stuff so that I could do more. So I think I will definitely get starter. Okay, so I love that it does this too. That it renames your file for you, so that you don't have to worry about overwriting something older. Okay, so now we've got our map job titles. This should look gorgeous. Okay, it didn't put it in, it put it in A instead of B, but that's fine. Oh, yeah, I see why I put it in B. It put the value that we wanted in A, and then it put the title that it mapped it from in B. Nice. Very nice. So see, so now like all of your job title mapping is done, right? Pretty much in one fell swoop. And we'll go from A to B, and we'll sort that way so that we can see what those all look. I wish spreadsheets would also auto assume this, but you know, assumptions. Okay. Ooh, so there are some things that we'll have to go back in here and tweak. I don't know why it feels that these qualify as the same as being a C-suite. So let's ask it. Classified. I want to know. I got to know. Appears the word chief. Really? No, that's not in there. So, oh. That is so great. You've got to be kidding. That is amazing, though. That is an amazing answer. Because I'm not going to lie, when I looked at it, it's like, okay, well, I mean, these guys are doctors, right? Like, definitely probably would want to. And then conservation officer, like, okay, you definitely are an officer, so you fall under that. But tax inspector and chiropractor, like, what the hell? But at the same time, it's like, well, chiropractors are also doctors. Now, tax inspector, I'm not sure that I would put them at the C-suite level. I don't know where that falls in the job description given to people at conservation officer, right? It actually took the historic buildings manager into account too. Historic building manager, conservation officer, and tax inspector. Let's see, which led to these titles being incorrectly classified as C-suite. Right? Keyword-based categorization is not context aware, and it can result in false positives or negatives due to substring matches. So that's, context aware matching instead of simple substring matches uses regular expression to match only whole words. Let's use the suggestions. Right? Cool. All right, so let's go with the you know what? Yeah, I want to be really specific about this. Oh, so what I was going to say earlier, little bit of a hack. If you didn't know, you can duplicate your GPT windows. And as soon as I get enough memory, so you can duplicate your GPT windows and you can work on 2 projects at the same time. Does not matter. Like, pick whatever you want. While that's working, let's go make some dolly images or something. Job title's getting recategorized. It's awesome. Let me see. I don't even know if that's a descriptor. No, it's not really. And a 5. Is that? Yeah, no, that's how you spell it. I think so. I think that about covers it. All right, so let's check out the new file while that's going and doing its thing. Now it's probably refined mapped job titles, right? That's what I'm saying. Like it does it in order. It's like, well, okay, well, we're going on to the next one. All right, so this is the mapped job titles, right? This is where it went for that. This is awesome because it gave us the refined category. We can see what that was by comparison to everything else. Oh, I keep forgetting to do that every time. I'm sure somebody said it just before it happened too. Okay, so now we're definitely stuck straight to C-suite. Manager looks solid as well. Looks good. Accountant. And everything else falls under other. So that's, I mean, like, that's a thing, right? We still got, oh, the new version is other. The old version was C-suite. Right. So let's see. I'm not going to go any further with this, but you get where this is going. You could definitely go in here. You could say like medical, right? And say any job title related to medical falls under a new category called medical. Any job title containing the word executive. Any job title containing the word whatever, right? Research. If you're trying to, whatever your job industry is and whatever you're trying to boil those titles down into. So there's plenty of companies that all they care about is the engineers, the product people, or the technicians. And so they want they don't care if you're a product analyst. They don't, if you're like a high level of something else, asking them for something, they don't care, right? They want to talk to a specific audience. So this is just another way of being able to take somebody's messy portal worth of data and boil it down into the very simple categories that you need it to be in a very short amount of time. In my opinion, it's not the single greatest tool or whatever, but it's definitely the easiest, like fastest method of doing that I can think of. Okay, so not bad, really not bad. so let's go with that, see what it does. Once again, we went over this last week too, right? That like the inherent racism that exists in GPT, not only GPT, but other models as well. It's like you can't really get outside of it, you can't really get past it. In a lot of cases, again, it's like it's inherent because of where the training data is coming from is also like toxic in a sense, you could say. Um, so also something to take away from this, right, is these rule sets. Um, that like if you were to use this going forward, right, for another GPT instance, then this is what you should be doing. You should be coming right up to mapping strategy, right? And copy everything from rule set all the way through mapping strategy. And now you can, you know, whatever, copy paste this and apply it to the next series that you have to do that has to use this methodology, right? It's the same as when you like for me, I don't know, it's my favorite thing to do is to make GPT like tell me how to tell it to do something. I love that. But that's, and the reason why I love it is because again, it's like talking to a human, right? If you think about it, when it comes to telling people how to get things done for you, there's always this struggle of how to be an effective leader, how to effectively lead people, how to effectively do this or that. And the only way you can get the best effect is by matching the expectation. So if you understand ahead of time what the expectation is, then you can match it. And what makes that easy is if you just ask the person and find out what their expectations are. So lo and behold, if you just ask somebody, hey, when I have to ask you to do something, or when I tell you, you know, that I need something done, what's your preferred method? What do you prefer in terms of communication? Would you rather I email you? Would you rather I message you? Would you rather it be a huddle? Whatever. Now, I realize that that's sort of like asking for Pandora's box when it comes to managers. I don't know. I would imagine that goes, you know, part and parcel with being a manager is to understand the different styles and the different aspects and the ways in which you have to talk to the people that you manage. Like you shouldn't be using a one size fits all solution to manage everybody. That sounds really bad. I don't use a one size fits all solution for anything. Like most everything I have serves its particular purpose, right? Even when it comes to AI tools, I don't like GPT doesn't solve all. I don't use it as the main, you know, it does some really great stuff. It does a really great job of things. But it at the end of the day, I'm not going to use it over Midjourney. I'm just not. It's just not the go-to. Okay, so now I also want to start playing around and develop a site, right? Because I want to create a new site for GPT with me. Let me see. I'd like to some graphics for my new website. Style of this site. It's minimalist. Oh, this is yeah, let's see. It's minimalist. Yeah. This is what I love doing is like clean dirty. It's minimalist yet has touches and tones of dystopian grunge. I get a raw feel while maintaining simple lines and visual concepts. Okay. I want to see what that's going to do visually. And then we'll come back over to the analyst. Well, we won't fire this guy. We'll just bring out a new one. Going to use plugins. We'll just use web browser. Let's just do, yeah, like I want to use something so easy. Okay. Creating a new, and like to create some graphics for the new site. We already did that. Garner visual attraction and attention. Love the use of slight animation, adding okay. I just want to see what it's going to come back with first. I haven't asked it to actually generate code yet, but that'll be next. Now let's see what we got for images. I go by feel. I don't go by like what I'm looking at necessarily. And this, everything except for the planes is the feel. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like that. I really like that. That's really nice. Nah, I really like this. Great. Gimme. Did I get it? Yes. Okay. Photo of a minimalist website, right? Yeah. Okay. Instead of making it a photo though, let's copy that. Come back here. Do minimalist website graphic. Aspect ratio of 1920 by 1080. No, that's not an aspect ratio. Aspect ratio of 16 by 9. I want a pixel size of 1920 by 1080, but we'll see if we can get that. Okay, so let's see. Understanding conceptualization, design development. Yep. Iconography. Simple icons with a touch of grunge. Use high quality images that echo the post-apocalyptic dystopian theme. Subtle animations. Subtle animations could be incorporated throughout. Layout and structure. Subtle transitions. I like it. Further exploration. Awesome. To create a homepage. Let's see. Longer than, let's see, 2160, yeah. Let's start there and we'll go from there. I dig it. I dig the look. I don't know what's up with the airplanes though. Yeah, this is nice. I like it because it's like an impressionist version of it, and I really dig it. I really, really do. Damn, I would put that on my wall. I would print that and put it on my wall. That is so awesome in so many ways. Like if you guys are into Blade Runner, if you're into Tron Legacy, if you're into Death Race, like any of that kind of thing, like, you know, Take on Me from Aha, like this has like all of that sort of put into one image. Like just the how clean but dirty it is at the same time is awesome. So so awesome. Swear to God, if there is an artist out there who has created anything like this, very, 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 very close to this, I would buy your stuff immediately, hands down. And if this is a knockoff of somebody's stuff, I feel horrific because this is awesome. Sorry, like that's what art is, though, right? Like it makes you feel. It's not supposed to be something that's like universal. Everybody finds it to be equally as awesome. Okay, so HTML code we need is here. So I'm just going to go into here and edit. Yes, I do. Man, it's because you kicked me out. Come on. Open says me. Where are we at? Oh my gosh, only 20 minutes left. Time flies when I want to do better stuff. Okay. Save that, come out. Go into the script.js file. Oh, you know what? In terms of like, so this is kind of what I like to do to check up on GPT and make sure that it's doing like what it's supposed to, let's say. You just go to a code environment. Do mine loaded up? Yes, I do. Okay, so go there, right? No, replace all that. Okay, and we'll copy the style, that in, and we'll copy the JS, which there isn't any. Okay. Let's see. I didn't really tell it what I want the content to be at all. So, so let's see what it did. Nothing. Just no content on the page. Because I mean, like, what is there to do, right? And it can't create create graphics, even though it should be able to. Let's see. Like, I know you can, right? Yeah, like you can do pure CSS images and stuff like that. Right? Like you could definitely do this stuff. It's not impossible. So let me see if GPT knows how to do it. And let's see. Denim. No, Rust and faded denim. Fucking type. Let me see. Let's do it. Ah, of course. This is going to be okay. So you can see how like there's nothing going on here, right? Like it's very, very just plain because that's what I asked it to do is just make a plain page. Garbage in, garbage out. Okay, so this is supposed to be this background color, which it kind of isn't, but let's see, is that just the body? Yeah. Yeah, that's, I mean, it's weird. It made this transparent like checker. Yeah, I mean, it's not really worthwhile for it to try to do that, honestly. Like it's easier for me to just upload a file and to do it. Let me see. This is a bit less than oh, you know what? Here's something terrible. I was thinking, I'm like, oh my gosh, but I'm not gonna have time to write out like an entire site that I want to use. But what I can do is I can go steal the design off of somebody else's. That's all I'm doing right now. I'm not even looking for anything specific. come back over here. I'm going to kill this guy. Not literally, but it is what it is. Come over to Advanced Data Analytics, and actually, I'm going to the default one, and I'm going to say, hey guy. Yeah, don't worry about it. Download. And now I can come over and I can say, hey guy, take this website image. There you go. And look, I don't know if this is going to work right out the bat, but all I'm doing is like, I'm playing the game of if I had it, what would I do? Right? So if you gave me a tool and said, hey, this tool can build out anything that you need it to, all you have to do is ask, what do you think I'm going to do with that? You think I'm just going to sit and do the most basic stuff and boring stuff on the planet? No. No, I'm going to try to break it. And by break it, I mean I'm going to try to make it do things that it's not supposed to do. Why? Why not? That's the only way I get to show whether or not these things are actually broken or not. It's great. Okay, let's see. Let's see how perfect this is. Should be cut and paste. Well, damn. Right? It even put the like parts of the context in there, or content, for crying out loud. It's not exactly it's not formatted the right way. Definitely needs some CSS help. So it isn't like a spitting image, right? And I'm not sure where the digest aspect of it went, right? Like this, or the designist. Let's see. So now what I wonder is, can I take this and say, here's what the output was. Can you please adjust it to match the original? Oh yeah, you guys didn't know you can just cut and paste images too? Of course you can. It can accept images now. It's multimodal on the image aspect, so just paste the image in there. Boom, boom. Create a more refined HTML and CSS to closely mimic the original website layout. So now it seems like it really is, because before it kind of thought of the wasn't exactly an afterthought for the styling. Where did it put? It says the designist is in there. Huh. So just title for the page. Okay, so this code should render output that is much closer. So we'll copy that over here, paste her in, save it. Well, folks, it is in fact much closer. Come on now. Like, now the buttons are really like falling into place. The style of the buttons is there. The style of like the middle is there. You know, the subscribe is off to the side, but like it's getting closer and closer. And all I have to keep doing, you can see that from the first iteration to this iteration, right? So this is what it came back with before, right? And it's like, it's kind of close, but it's pretty far off the mark. And then it did that, right? So it's like it's getting a lot closer to where we need it to be. Point being, let's see, I want to do something that's a little bit more defined, so it has like a better idea. I wish I had, let's see, it's too much junk, mostly AI. Not bad. And then you had something pop up on the screen. Guys, when you do that stuff, it's so gross. It's so gross when you have a site and it looks really great, and then you fuzzy out the site because of the fact that like there's something weird on the screen. Let's see. This is for DID. No. Phantom Buster, do we have this anymore? I know, I'm burning time. That's what I love to hate most. Okay, so here's Medium site. Let's see if we can copy this. Yeah, let's try that. Does it know? Okay. Because this is way more structured. I'm also wondering if it's, based on this flow, I think it's going to try to do the same thing where it's actually going to try to put the content in there too. Textual representation. Really? Stop. Just stop, sir. We broke it, didn't we? Did I break it? See, because I figured that it would. No, no. That's the problem. Like, I figured that it would just. When I say make a version that mimics, right? It's a downgrade right here. For written. Oh, I can't spell. It's not helpful. Okay. That's so great. Neither answer is better. Okay. Can you please make the create? There. I want to get even more pointed. I want OpenAI to see this stuff and to go out there and put the guardrails on it and say, okay, sorry, we'll keep it from coding other people's sites. I don't know how you do that. I don't know, but all I do know is that you can do this. What I know is that you can go to other people's websites, you can scan their stuff, um, you can clip their stuff, and you can use it to do your own stuff, right? You can use it as if it was your own. Yeah, it's bringing in all the copy, like everything. Yeah, of course I have to replace the logo, but let's see. I don't somehow I don't think this is gonna get anywhere near that image, but I could be wrong. It's near it. I mean, if we're talking about the color scheme, it's near it, but not really. Let's copy that and we'll say where I'll be able to tell if it's like sort of doing it better is right within the menu aspect of it, because that is it's formatted nicely, it's spaced nicely. There's a difference between get started and sign in, so there needs to be that difference when it comes to the nav, and it doesn't look like the nav is even there. Oh, okay, never mind, span. All right, I don't think so, but well, close again, like the next step closer than where we were, right? So you know, still not the same. I mean, like how much? Let's put it this way: how much harder is it if you're doing front end, right? I mean, yeah, of course, you can just lift to inspect the color, so that's not a big deal, and then you can change the color. But in terms of like being able to set up the bare bones or something like that, if you don't know, build out your own website and to build out your own shelf or something, yeah, I don't really see why you wouldn't use that method to at least start out with. Um, I don't know that this is. I don't know what else I could necessarily do. Let's see. I mean, I could just say that there's like a hairline between the menu and the rest of the body, but basically, I would need to be able to explain verbally. Um, and this is where like when people talk about you're not going to lose your job to AI, you're going to lose your job to somebody that knows how to use AI. This is how that applies. Somebody who knows website development, especially front end web development, and knows how to differentiate between all of these elements very easily and quickly, can do just that and can tell GPT, hey, I need to modify this, and this thing here, and I need this to perform this function, because they're all the same things you would normally do if it took you several hours to do them. But now you know how to tell this assistant to do them for you to save you all of that time. That's where all of this is going, right? Like me personally, it's going to take me a little bit more. It's going to take me longer. I've got to go back and forth with GPT, and I've got to say, well, yeah, it's like this, but I need it to be more like that, and I need the menus to be like this, and I need it to flow in this way, or whatever. I need this functionality, and it's going to have this many pages. Um, what I what I want to do actually is I want to come back next week and show you guys what this is going to look like um, after next week, because I'm really sure. Let's see. So let's just go ahead and take. You know what? Like I really do wish I could tell it. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. This is sort of like asking Chappie to create its own image. So okay, so it wants to use vertical menu as opposed to the horizontal, which is becoming more of a trend because horizontal's just been there forever, right? Nobody necessarily likes vertical menus either, but when you think about it, vertical menus work easier for you on mobile than they do on than horizontal ones, because the distance, the width of your phone, and the distance your thumb has to go is something that actually gets taken into consideration when it comes to UX UI for mobile. Otherwise, like if it isn't, it should. Now it did crap out, but it did finish the code while doing so. So while you're regenerating, I'm gonna take a look at what you did. Well. This is definitely not the coolest thing I've ever seen. At all. This is some horrific, what I would classify as well, let's yeah, I mean it's just horrific, really. I'm not putting content in this. Now, maybe it's that these expand as the content expands within them. I'm quite sure that's going to be the case. But yeah, I'm definitely, and it's, the menu seems really nice, except that it goes in behind services, right? So it should at least stop about here to give you the same width on that side as you have on this side. Wow, it just really, it's having a hard time pumping out. Whoa! That just happened on its own. I did not. Okay. So anyhow, what I'm gonna do is, and to prove it as if I have to prove it or anything, I will post the link to the GPT chat so that you'll be able to view it. Which I think it dead ends. Yeah, here we go. I think it dead ends after a certain amount of time. I can't remember. Yeah, probably not. Okay. I will not do it with an image version. I can do it with a plugin version. Shouldn't be an issue. Anyhow, I know that the share link dies after a while, so I'll definitely make a video while I'm doing it as well and post that so you guys can see what that's all like. But per usual, I'm starting to go over the 2-hour mark. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys what coding with GPT is kind of like. Again, I know that it's not perfect the first go around. Really, like, again, if you're expecting perfection from the first go around and all that kind of stuff, like copy paste perfection, please don't. Please continue to realize that we're in the very, very, very early stages of this technology, and that even though it is getting remarkably better with every passing month, there's still a long, long, long way to go, right? So, is it going to get to a cut and paste day? Yes, it will. Is that going to happen by Christmas? No. Do I think it'll happen by the end of next year? Yes. I think by the end of next year, yeah, we will definitely see a lot more copy paste from large language models than we do now. But I will leave you guys there, and we'll leave you with that. I'm sorry there wasn't as much news this time, which is a bit shocking, but at least there was more GPT-ness involved. I will set up demos for next week. I do apologize that it's been kind of, wish-washy the last couple weeks. I've just been buried under work and got back from travel recently, and it's all kind of just coincided and mashed together with my time. So I haven't had as much time to put in as I would like to, but things are starting to lighten up now. I'm starting to get a little bit more time back in my day, so that's going to get dedicated towards the show. And so the content for you guys will be much better. That being said, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for watching. And thank you for coming along to GPT with me. See you guys next week.